Ever made a mistake, even a small one, and suddenly felt like your entire worth was on trial? Your chest tightens, your mind races. What will they think of me now? Did I ruin everything? Most of us are not taught how to handle mistakes. We're taught to fear them. From school systems to family dynamics, we're raised to believe that making a mistake equals failure. But here's the truth. Mistakes aren't failures. They're feedback, and owning them doesn't make you weak. It makes you powerful. Let's take a moment to understand why we fear mistakes so much. For many, the fear of making a mistake is rooted in perfectionism. We were taught, sometimes subtly, sometimes loudly, that love, approval, or success is tied to getting it right. Not just doing our best, but doing it perfectly. So we internalize this. If I mess up, I'm not good enough. If I admit fault, I'll lose respect. If I own up to a mistake, I'll be judged or rejected. This creates an emotional trap. We either avoid mistakes entirely, which is impossible, or we deny, hide, or deflect when they happen. And yet, mistakes are how we learn, grow, and evolve, not just in skill, but in character. Here's what most people get wrong. Owning a mistake doesn't shrink your credibility, it strengthens it. People don't respect those who never mess up. They respect those who handle their mistakes with maturity and honesty. But to get there, we have to first undo the fear. We must unlearn the belief that a mistake defines us, and instead realize it refines us. In the next part, we'll explore what actually happens when we avoid accountability, how guilt, denial, and shame quietly destroy our self-trust and relationships. Ready to break that cycle? Let's move into part 2. When we make a mistake and try to avoid it, deny it, or cover it up, we're not escaping the consequences. We're multiplying them. Avoiding accountability might feel easier in the moment, but emotionally, it starts a slow-burning fire inside your relationships, your self-esteem, and your peace of mind. Let's start with guilt. Guilt is that nagging inner voice that says, "You know you messed up." It's a signal from your conscience, and it's healthy when it leads to correction. But when we don't own the mistake, guilt doesn't go away. It mutates into shame, and shame is much heavier. Shame doesn't just say, "You made a mistake." It says, "You are a mistake." That's the real cost of avoiding responsibility. It shifts the weight from the action to your identity. And then comes denial, the act of pretending it didn't happen, minimizing it, or blaming others. The moment you start denying your part in something, you fracture your own self-trust. Because deep down, you know you're not being honest with yourself. That disconnection creates anxiety. You feel out of alignment. You start overthinking simple interactions. You replay conversations in your head, not because of what was said, but because of what wasn't owned. And it doesn't just affect you, it damages relationships too. When people feel that you're not willing to own your part, they stop feeling safe around you. Walls go up, trust goes down. But here's the flip side, and it's powerful. Owning a mistake doesn't make people lose respect for you. It makes them see you as human, honest, humble, and strong enough to grow. In fact, some of the deepest trust in relationships comes not from perfection, but from repair. In part 3, we'll explore what it really looks like to say, "I was wrong," and why doing so is one of the most courageous things you can ever do. There's a moment after a mistake where your body freezes, your pride kicks in, and your mind whispers, "Don't admit it, just move on." It's tempting, isn't it? To brush it off, change the subject, shift the blame, or hope people forget. But real growth, real healing, starts with 5 simple, powerful words. I was wrong. I'm sorry. It sounds simple, but in a world that often rewards ego and defensiveness, those words are an act of courage. So why is it so hard to say? Because ego hates exposure. It's afraid that admitting fault will lead to rejection, loss of respect, or damage to our image. But here's what most people don't realize. Admitting you're wrong doesn't lower you. It lifts your character. It shows you're secure enough to grow. You value truth over pride. You're human, and not pretending otherwise. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with humility. They connect with those who can say, I made a mistake, and I want to do better. Think of the last time someone genuinely owned a mistake with you. Did you lose respect for them or gain it? Owning up shows that integrity matters more than saving face. It creates emotional safety, it opens the door for healing, and perhaps most importantly, it allows you to stay in alignment with your values. But remember, owning a mistake doesn't mean shaming yourself. It means acknowledging the harm, understanding the impact, and choosing to repair. It's not about punishing yourself, it's about growing from the experience. In the next part, we'll dive into how to own a mistake well, how to speak up with maturity, take responsibility without over-apologizing, and turn a moment of failure into a foundation of strength. Owning a mistake doesn't just mean saying I messed up, it's about how you say it and what you do next. A true apology, one that brings healing, comes from self-awareness, accountability, and intention. Let's break it down. 1. Take full ownership. Without defensiveness. Instead of saying, I'm sorry if you felt hurt, say, I realize I hurt you by doing this, and I take full responsibility. Avoid softening the truth or shifting blame. Don't explain it away with excuses. Just stand in the discomfort and own it. That moment of raw honesty is powerful. It tells the other person, you matter more than my ego. 2. Acknowledge the impact, not just the action. Go beyond what you did. Recognize how it made someone else feel. This is where real emotional intelligence comes in. Try this. I now see how my words made you feel dismissed, and I truly regret that. Acknowledging someone's emotions validates their experience. That's what builds bridges. 3. Don't over-apologize, recommit instead. Yes, apologize, mean it, but don't stay stuck in the mud of guilt. At some point, shift the conversation to growth. Here's what I've learned. Here's what I'll do differently moving forward. This shows that your apology is not just a reaction, it's a transformation. 4. Stay present, even if forgiveness takes time. Just because you owned it doesn't mean the other person will instantly forgive or move on. That's okay. Stay grounded. Stay humble. You can't control their process, only your integrity. 5. Be kind to yourself. Finally, remember, you're not your mistake. You're the person who chose growth in the face of it. Beating yourself up doesn't make you more accountable. What makes you accountable is action, stepping forward wiser, clearer, and more intentional. In part 5, we'll talk about how to turn mistakes into wisdom, how to use reflection, humility, and resilience to rise stronger than before. Let's move forward. A mistake when ignored becomes a weight. A mistake when owned becomes a mirror. But a mistake when reflected on and learned from becomes wisdom. This is where real transformation happens, not in the moment of the mistake, but in what you choose to do afterward. Let's talk about regret. Regret is heavy. It's your mind replaying a past you can't change. But when handled right, regret can become a teacher instead of a tormentor. Ask yourself, what did this mistake reveal about me? What blind spot did I discover? What value did I compromise? And how can I strengthen it now? Don't just replay the event, extract the lesson. Responsibility is not about punishment, it's about permission to grow. Every great leader, every wise person you admire has made mistakes, but what sets them apart is that they didn't waste those mistakes. They turned them into fuel, into insight, into tools for future integrity. Here's how you begin turning your mistake into wisdom. 1. Reflect without judgment. Instead of, I was so stupid, try, now I understand why I did that. Self-compassion creates the space to see clearly. 2. Identify the root. Was the mistake caused by fear, insecurity, ego, lack of awareness? Find the root, not just the symptom. 3. Document the lesson. Literally write it down, capture the insight. That way, the pain wasn't pointless. It became a page in your personal growth story. 4. Apply it forward. The ultimate proof of wisdom is changed behavior. When you're in a similar situation next time, you respond differently. That's when you know the mistake wasn't in vain. It helped evolve you. And here's the deeper truth. Sometimes the most painful mistakes are the ones that lead to the most meaningful breakthroughs. Not because they were easy, but because they woke you up. In the final part, we'll talk about how to truly let go, how to release guilt and rebuild self-confidence after owning your mistake. You've owned your mistake. You've reflected, apologized, and learned. Now comes the part most people struggle with, letting go. Because even after growth, guilt has a way of hanging around. You replay the moment in your head. You wonder if others still see you differently. You question if you can fully trust yourself again. But here's the truth. You are allowed to move on. You are allowed to forgive yourself. And you are allowed to rebuild, not as someone broken, but as someone becoming. Let's talk about how. 1. Stop apologizing for the same thing over and over. If you've taken responsibility and shown change, you don't need to keep dragging yourself through shame. Let your actions speak now. The goal is not endless punishment, it's forward motion. 2. Reconnect with who you're becoming, not who you were. Mistakes often create identity wounds. You start thinking, maybe I'm just not a good person. But remember, you're not defined by your worst moment, you're shaped by your response to it. Reaffirm your values, rebuild your self-image based on how you showed up after the fall. 3. Re-establish self-trust. Through small wins, confidence doesn't come back all at once. Start with tiny acts of alignment. Keep your word to yourself. Follow through on simple promises. Show up with integrity even when no one's watching. Each of these builds a new foundation, rooted in growth, not perfection. 4. Surround yourself with truth. Distance yourself from people or environments that constantly remind you of your mistake. Instead, lean into spaces where your growth is seen, not your past repeated. And don't forget to remind yourself daily, you're not your past, you're your practice. 5. Celebrate the courage it took to own it. Most people never fully take accountability. They hide, they lie, they deflect. But you didn't, and that's rare, that's strong, that's honorable. So now take a breath and let it go. You did the work, you faced yourself, and you stepped forward with truth. That's not weakness, that's mastery. Keep becoming, keep evolving. You are not behind, you're right on time.